Where are we going is the number one question we always hear. It's always about what is happening with real estate. So, what we try to do is help those people who are trying to invest or buy and sell their own properties in their own cities across North America. This is what we do. Since I invest all over North America, maybe I can help you along your way to be more profitable and make more money as we go along. All right, you guys. So, let's share some of our screens and let's work at this together today so that we can walk away here more equipped to make some better decisions as we move forward. All right, you guys. So, what we're going to do first then is we're going to pull up some prices from Toronto properties. So, as you know, this is where I'm located right now. Toronto properties took an absolute beating over the past year, but we've had a remarkable recovery. So property prices, obviously, before the main shutdowns at $1.3 million was absolutely crazy. That should never have been that high. But as we continue on, prices dropped substantially, $10,000 a week moving on. But since January started, the prices went from 980,000 and has rebounded to 1.1 million. So to be able to go up $120,000 per house is phenomenal. And we are really excited about this. So please give me your questions, write them down, and I'm going to get to them. So I want to hear all of your questions that you have on real estate right now so that I could be of assistance to you. So if we take a look at Canada, for example, Canada is very similar to what's happening in the United States. If we pick up a certain city, let's pick several cities just so that you can have an idea of what we're actually dealing with. So let's try to pick up just the price, and let's say that we're going to take some that will be maybe Bancroft, for example. Let's take, I had somebody ask me about Brantford. Let's take a look at Brantford. We're going to take a look at a section of Kawartha Lakes, which is cottage country. Let's take a look at that. And let's look at the Greater Toronto region, maybe one of the main hubs in Canada. So let's take a look at these different ones. As you can see, there's different zones. Each one of these are different cities. So when we take a look at different cities, how are they? We can see the Greater Toronto area went up from when we started printing money. $845 was the average price for a property in the Greater Toronto area, and it went nosebleed level to 1.3. And then dropped all the way down to $1,078,000. And now it's come back. So this is like a very manic, depressive type behavior in a market. Vancouver operates the same way. But if we look in the United States, this would be the same as Atlanta, same as New York, same as San Francisco. Also, then if you go down to Brantford or Kawartha Lakes, these are both going to be affected by the Toronto buyers as a satellite city, also as a vacation playground for them. Muskoka is the number one place you'd want to go. This is the number two. So if you look at Bancroft, yes, Bancroft had something very similar. From 2020 moving on, massive price increases from an average price of $260 all the way to $540. So to have a increase in prices at that level is crazy, right? We're talking 60% increase. That is not healthy for a market. But if you look at before that, this whole zone that was before that, from 2010 to 2020, that was a very stable market. But what happened when they started printing money like crazy? Bancroft went absolutely bananas. Makes no sense whatsoever. So let me know where you guys are from. If you guys want me to look up any of this stuff, I'm happy to help you out. So if you look at Toronto prices, we've had a massive increase in prices. You know, $125,000 spike in prices is absolutely phenomenal. And why this is happening, we got a couple things that are happening that is really weird. Number one, we're having an inversion of the rates. As you can see with the fixed rate in blue, fixed rate is always higher than a variable rate, and it's completely inverted coming into the new year. So you have to ask yourself, what is the bank telling you? The bank is trying to sucker you into a fixed rate, right? So that they can lock you in at that fixed rate, make a very minimum profit in the first year, knowing that the rates will have to be cut later. And they're going to charge an exorbitant fee for you to be in a variable fee. Look at the difference, 5.69 versus 6.5. So they are going to try to screw you on that variable rate really badly. So Right now, I think variable is the way to go, but I'm not a mortgage broker. I am a real estate broker. Um, so why is that happening? That is happening because our mortgage rates fell. And so as mortgage rates are falling down, as they fell, home prices went way, way up. So that's a big difference of what's happening in the market because of that happened. So we got to know what that is, right? We got to know how to behave with that. So where people are getting crushed right now is their mortgages. Their mortgages, if we see a $1.2 million loan last year versus a $1.2 million loan this year, from 2% to 5.4%, where it is now, if you were going to go variable at 6.5%, which is the rate right now for variable, just take a look at the difference in payments. So you have one payment at $5,000 and one payment at $8,000. So who has an extra $3,000 a month to pay in that? Remember, it's not make $3,000 more. At this price point, you're paying 50% in taxes. So if you have a job, you need to make $6,000 more per month just to maintain that. To put that in perspective, that's $72,000 per year. $72,000 per year is what the average wage is in Toronto. That is insanity. Also, $1.2 million property. Also, you're going to have to pay $1.2 million in interest. I need that to sink in for you. Where is this money going? So before you pay 1.2 million and over the life of the term, you pay $300,000 in interest. Now you got a home for 1.2, you got to pay $1.2 million in interest. Absolute insanity. So prices that we're right now, I think, at the great price repricing of all real estate. Real estate has to come down because people are trying to stick with their prices and say, nope, you're going to eat it. And that is not going to happen. People cannot qualify for $8,000 a month anymore. It's not going to happen. So continue to watch the bond rate, because wherever you are in the bond rate, this is going to dictate where you should be. And so right now, to see something like this with the bond rate so low, I mean, that's a great time to be selling a property, is when it's low. When this is high up here, this is not where you want to be selling a house. That's where you want to be buying a property. So lots of things are going to be happening in Toronto over the long term. Let's take a look at some other cities. If there's some cities you want me to look at, please let me know and let's look at them together. If we want to take a look, validating, wow, what an amazing form for a bank to offload calculations so clients can click and find out. I don't know what that means. Could you expand on that for me? Calgary and David, mortgage broker. Hey, how are you, buddy? Another great live stream. Hey, thanks very much for coming on. Again, you guys, if you guys want, I'm a mortgage broker myself, so you can go to sellhire.ca if you have any questions. If you're thinking of selling your properties, this is what we do. We have some questions coming in here from Facebook and YouTube. So Mother 9 Charlie is one that they wanted to look at, and also Montreal. Okay, so let's pick off Montreal first, and we have a question for Calgary. I do like to leave them on the screen because it will give us an idea compared to other cities where we are, okay? So if we just take a look at this right now, where we are sitting, you would assume that the top ones here, this brown one and the orange and blue, those are more manic depressive. And these properties down here are the safer ones. So look at that. The first one is Toronto. These two are Brantford and Kawartha Lakes. That is, cottage country. And if you move down here, check out Montreal. So Montreal has went from, or when we started printing money like crazy, it went from 386 up to 552. Also fantastically high, but 50% is nothing compared to 100% when you're looking at Toronto. So Montreal, super stable. So that was a really good one for us to take a look at. So thank you very much for asking about that one. Now let's try to find Montreal, Calgary on this list. Check out Calgary. Calgary is steady as she goes for over a decade. So when we started printing money, what were the prices? The prices were sitting at $3.98 or so, and now they're $5.98. So, that's up quite a bit, right? What is that price? That's 400 to 500. I mean, that's 30% in prices. So that is huge. but it's nothing compared to you see these other cities where we're dealing with. So they're doing fantastic. Calgary overall, it's in line with the money print. So Justin is asking about Mother 9 Charlie, that section of Toronto. So let's do that for him. Mother 9 Charlie. Mother 9 Charlie. Let's pull that up and see what we can find for him. So inside of Mother 9 Charlie in the last 2 years, this gives us the peak to trough. It's up 8%. So let's look at where it was in February before the crash, $1 million, $1,026,000. And look at where the price is now. Thank you, Silicon Valley Bank, for crashing. What a fantastic day. $695,000 at the beginning of the year. And because of all those bank crashes, interest rates have tumbled up to 9.58. My goodness. If I was inside of M9C, depending on the type of product, obviously, and I could walk away from all of that trouble with $1 million exposure, making my money back, oh my goodness. It's a gift from heaven. Gift from heaven. Justin, this is for M9C. Hopefully that you can see that. Also, days on market. How fast is it selling? We can see prices. Oh, man. Look at that. Homes were selling in 40 days, and now they're selling in 25. Beautiful. Way faster. And so obviously our goal, if you ever reach out to us at sellhigher.ca, is to sell it for more money than that and to sell it faster than that. So you can go to sellhigher.ca if you have some questions for me. But thank you very much for your comment. Please give me more comments. Fire away with me, and let's try to figure out what we can do to help. All right, let's go back to some of our questions. Allison, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you very much for coming on. Jessica, how is it possible my friend's neighbor got a mortgage paying $2,500 a month for a $560,000 house? Well, that really depends on how much they're putting down on the property. They probably put a huge amount of equity down. But let's just take a look at that for a second. If you had a $560,000 mortgage, okay, I don't know when. I'm guessing that you did this now. Okay, $560,000 mortgage. You see, that would be 3,000. So what would they have to have? What would they get? Maybe $350,000 mortgage, and that would give you $2,400. So maybe they put a big chunk of equity down on that property. Where did I start? Oh, I've been doing this for a long, long time. Where did I start? We actually built some houses, cleared some forest. We flipped houses before. My wife and I have a real estate company. We started investing in properties, buying properties inside of good corporate structures. And we've been doing this for a long time. M5C. Let me find out where we are for M5C. Let's take a look for that one. M5 Charlie. Keep those questions coming, you guys, because I mean, this is what I'm here for. And if I'm giving you any value, if you guys like this stuff, please hit that like button a million times. It really, really helps me out. And please follow me on this channel and on YouTube. So in Toronto, inside of M5C, let's try to look at what the prices are like. I'm sure that's what you mean. Prices right now up 9% on average, but from the peak was $1 million over here, and now it's selling for $862,000. So the peak was $1,046,000, and now it's $862,000 is the average in that area. If you're looking for to sell your property in that zone, you can always reach out to us at sellhigher.ca. It's a free consultation. Sellhigher.ca. Great. Can you please explain why Silicon Valley is helping on prices going up? Yeah, that's really easy. Silicon Valley Bank has gone down and had a massive crash, right? And so because Silicon Valley Bank actually went down, now all of a sudden banks were scared and they were willing to take less commission for your mortgage, for your business. So whenever you have a mortgage, you have two portions of a mortgage. Number one is the section that you're going to pay from the country. So that will be the US Federal Reserve. That will be the Bank of Canada. You'll pay that one. 4.5% here in Canada. In the States is 5.25. And then normally the banks, individual banks, Bank of America, or in Canada, Bank of Montreal, whatever that is, will charge like 2% on top of that. That's how they get to the 6.5% that you're seeing on the screen today. So instead of us having, it's not 6.5 from the Bank of Canada or the US bank, central bank. It's 4.5 from the central bank and another 2 profit. But because Silicon Valley Bank went down, Signature Bank went down, and all these other banks have went down, now all of a sudden banks are scared and are willing to take less commission just to make sure that money is coming into the banks because they're in trouble. And so because we're seeing that and they're lowering the amounts of commission, we're seeing a better rate out the door. You're seeing right now 5.5%, whereas before we were hitting near 7. We've even seen 5.2%. So that's why, as the interest rates come down, home prices go way up. That's why. But good question. All right, L5N. This is for Allison. Yeah, let's do this for you, Ali. L5N. L5 November. Let's pull that up for you. L5N right now peaked at 1.26 million. Right now selling for 1,080,000. So this area code is doing really well. That's great. Love to see that rebound from 950 up to that $120,000 bump. Great. Fantastic, right? And so all homes are going up in price, and we're seeing them sell much, much faster, which is fantastic. Banks in Canada are structured better. Yes, they are structured. They're structured the exact same, actually, as like JP Morgan and stuff. It's just in the United States, if you were a small regional bank, you had the gloves were off. You could do whatever you want. But that also gave us a lot of benefits in commercial real estate as well. Sell your home mortgage, $1,000 a month. Yep. Sell your home mortgage, $1,000 a month, move into an apartment for $2,500 a month, and it makes sense. Yep. We are seeing stuff like that. Can you see other places in Canada other than Toronto? Yeah. Ask me a place that you would like to check out. Allison, this is good news. Yes. Thank you. You're always on point with things. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you very much for coming by. Got a bunch of different ones here. Okay. So let's start with L8K. L8K. So if you're in the Greater Toronto area, I can look up a postal code for you. But if you're in another part, just let me know what city you're in, and I'll start pulling them up for you. L8 Kilo over the past 2 years down 21%. Bam, that's a hard hit. Okay, peak 927. Currently, it's selling for 645. So this has not had the same rise in prices as we've seen in other places. So overall, that one is down L5, L8K. So let's try to look up. We're asking N9J. Oh, Windsor. Okay, so let's pull up Windsor prices right now. Windsor and Essex prices overall. Let's see how Windsor is behaving. This is for Nuffs. All right, so let's take a look at Windsor. Windsor is this dark line that you can see right here. So when we started printing money, where were we? Around 363, and then it went all the way to 681. That is bananas. That's just crazy town. Windsor, look at that. It almost doubled in prices. Wow. 360 all the way up to 650, 680. My goodness. So right now, Windsor is sitting at 565 is the average for Windsor. So, if you take a look at all the cities comparatively, you're going to see massive drops in all the cities. But the good thing is Windsor has not dropped on a percentage basis as bad as Toronto or Vancouver or Oakville or places like that. Oakville is the worst place in Canada right now for drops. We're looking for B2X. I don't remember where that is. So Bravo 2 X-ray. B2X. I don't know where that is. Sorry, Chad, if you can let me know what the B2X is, I'd like to know. Is it in Nova Scotia? Kind of looks like it. Yeah. Outside of Halifax. Okay, so let's pull that up for you, okay? Halifax, Dartmouth. We're going to do the average, okay? Inside of that one, Chad. So let's pull this up. I got a lot of squiggly lines. So obviously, the ones at the top are the ones that you would like to stay clear of. These are the ones that are doing well. So let's take a look at where Montreal is there, Windsor. We got, I think, too many, but here, check out the pink line there is where Halifax and Dartmouth is. So if we go back to when they started printing money, 314, where did it peak out at? 547. So, that's ridiculous. That's also a 75-80% increase in prices. And has it come down quite a bit? Yeah, down to 479. But again, if you have to stack it up against all the other cities, as you can see, some are very manic depressive, and some are doing really, really well. If you want to look at overall, what other cities are even close to you right now besides that one? Only Bancroft, and who wants to move to Bancroft? So, like on this page, you would say that they're doing the absolute best. All right, so let's take away some of these extras and let's take a look at Ottawa. That's a question that is coming up. Let's take a look at prices in Ottawa and see where we're sitting. Ottawa is really, really good. You guys go do a video I did on YouTube about capital cities: Ottawa, Washington, D.C., Canberra, Moscow, London. All main capital cities have benefits that other cities just never have. Very, very, very steady rents, steady cash flow, and a cap on prices. So if we look at Ottawa, when they started their money printing in 2020, where was the prices? 414. Where did it end up? 724. Also massive increase, but nothing compared to like the Toronto one, for example. So Calgary, Ottawa is very, very steady as per the amount of money printing that has been happening. Allison is asking about another area code. Let's pull that one up for her. L5H. Guys, could you give me some likes? It's the best way that you can help me out. Just, I'd like you to follow me too, but can you make your fingers bleed and give me a couple thousand? Usually we'll have a couple thousand of them. I appreciate it if you would do that for me. L5H in this area code, and the average in the past 2 years down 24% overall. Prices were 2.7 million, but you can see this 3.4 million obviously is an anomaly. We got some very, very expensive ones. Thank you guys for the likes. It really, really helps me out. Also, this 2.9 million and this 3.4, I can already see with my eyes that those are anomalies. We would have to dig into it. Some very expensive properties, but where is it sitting right now? It's sitting at $2.1 million. Is the average. So it really depends if you're looking, Allison, for a detached or what type of property exactly. Let me see if we have Dartmouth. I don't have Dartmouth exactly here, Chad. I'm sorry, I don't have that one. Hamilton is a question that is coming up. Let's take a look at Hamilton and see how Hamilton has been behaving. Hamilton has been doing very well, actually, overall. Let's take a look. Do you guys see it? Oh, there it is. I'm talking to you as if I'm talking to somebody. Sorry. Here we go. Hamilton right now. In the last 2 years, it is down 16%. Prices went from $1 million. Now they're sitting at 844. So that is a lot better than it was in January, sitting at 780. So it's nice to see a $60,000 bump. But you can see a difference in downtown Toronto where prices are up 120,000, whereas this is only up 60,000. Big difference. November 9 Juliet is a question that's coming in. November 9 Juliet. LaSalle? Or is it Windsor? I'm going to guess it's Windsor. So let's pull up Windsor again. We had someone else that was on Windsor before. Let's see where Windsor is sitting. Windsor, look at there it is. So in 2020, prices were sitting at 363,000, and then it's 681,000 is where it's peaked out at. Windsor also finished at 556. If you guys know me, I was telling people buy in Windsor, buy in Windsor. So I was telling them that in 2018, and so in 2018 and 2019, I thought it was a really good deal. But then I get word from people. They said, David, I bought in Windsor in 2022. What are you doing, guys? It's crazy. the price always has to match what the rents are, right? All right, guys. So let's continue on here. We got a couple other questions coming in for Cochrane. I don't have Cochrane, but I do have Calgary. I don't think we have Cochrane here. I don't. Calgary prices or should be right here. Yeah, Calgary prices right now are averaging. Look at the peak price was 530. Currently, it's sitting at 528. So Calgary prices haven't really gone down very much. If we look at Kitchener and Waterloo, then I'm going to get to Brampton in a second. Kitchener Waterloo, if we take a look at Kitchener Waterloo, this is manic depressive times 100. So if you take a look here in 2020, when we started printing money, 540, then look what the price got to. Unbelievable, 970. Crazy town. So when you see spikes like that, these are bankruptcy events, these crashes. Bankruptcy events. Crazy. So, we got to get back to Brampton. Somebody is asking about how Brampton is doing. So let's show you Brampton, you guys. And if you guys are interested in using our services to help sell your property, obviously you can go to sellhigher.ca. Average prices in Brampton in the past 2 years, it's down 19%. Prices were at $1.3 million on those properties, and currently sitting at $1,090,000 is the average price in Brampton. What's this website? This is a private website. Unfortunately, it's not available to the public. I remember a while back you said Lethbridge looked like a good deal a while ago. Yes, it still is a good place. Let's take a look at Lethbridge. Is it here? No, it's not there. So let's take a look at Alberta as a whole, and let's take a look at Calgary next to each other. And I'm also going to get rid of a couple of these others just so that we can see it more clearly. Okay. Let's get rid of Kitchener. Let's try to compare Alberta, Calgary versus a place like Toronto. Obviously, you can see Toronto is very manic depressive. It's absolutely bananas. Whereas the stable markets, look at Ottawa, Calgary versus Alberta as a whole, the average prices in Alberta, they track each other almost identically. It would be hard for you to draw that straight. And so the average prices are very, very good. Alberta is very stable. There's no bankruptcy events here. This is a bankruptcy event. This is a bankruptcy event on a lot of different people. You're from North Vancouver. Okay, well, this is for Alexander. So let's add North Vancouver into this, Greater Vancouver, and see where that is compared. So take a look at Vancouver and Toronto up here. We could see Vancouver is even worse than Toronto right now. This was a worse event, but obviously this was all because of the Chinese market. This is what caused this. This is because the interest rate hikes. This is a ban on foreign investors. But look at the Alberta and Calgary compared to this one. So slow and steady growth. So we're not going for demand inflation. We're going for structural inflation. M8Z, Etobicoke to sell. Susan, let's take a look at that. So we just want to know, where is it performing overall, Susan, to see if it is a high number or a low number. That should tell you right away if you would want to sell it or not. M8Z, she's in Etobicoke. There's a lot of properties in that zone that are detached properties. So I'm going to just assume that she's in a detached property. Let's take a look. 107 properties have sold inside of M8Z, and check out what the prices are. So the prices were 2.2 million last year before they started raising interest rates, and we had a massive drop in prices here. So you would say that the prices went down, David. How is that possible? I can tell you already that there's a couple properties that sold that were 3, 4, 5 million in this zone that are fudging those numbers. You probably would have normally seen a flatter line around here. So we'd have to dig a little bit more into it. So I wouldn't trust these numbers. This one that says it's down 25%, that number actually does make sense to me, but this chart doesn't necessarily make sense to me. So I would have to dig into it a little bit more. If you wanted to think about selling your home, you could obviously go to sellhigher.ca and you can go here. It's a free consultation if you'd like. Do you think there's going to be more crashes? Absolutely. 1,000%. 1,000%. There's going to be many more crashes. There's like 700 susceptible banks right now. So and after the first one broke, they said, "Don't worry, guys. The banking sector is sound." Second one broke, don't worry. It's sound. Third one broke, don't worry, guys. It's sound. How many times do you have to hear that before you have to say, "Well, I don't have to believe that anymore"? M2M detached property is what we're getting an ask for right now. 183 homes actually sold in that zone. So if we look at those prices, prices were 2.8 million. If we were looking back till January of 2022, and right now, look at that spike. That spike is not normal. So that would tell me that something weird happened there. But look at what's happened this year. From $2 to $3 million is the average detached property. Woo! Unbelievable. That's crazy. Um, so I don't have a price exactly for your property on 136 Rockcliffe Drive. What I can tell you about Kitchener is if you were going to look at a place like in Kitchener, let's just take a look at Kitchener prices compared to some of the others. So we have some of the most manic depressive areas, Toronto and Vancouver at the top here. Then we'll have down here the Alberta ones. And this one right here is the Kitchener-Waterloo. So before we printed money, look at that March 550, prices topped out at 950. Massive rise and a massive drop in prices. So where are we sitting right now? 739 is the average price for a property in Kitchener. But if you were looking to sell your property, we work in Kitchener a lot. You can go to sellhigher.ca. It's a free consultation. And we can talk to you more specifically about your house, what the quality is inside, and so forth. I had somebody that said Canada is unbelievable. Is that correct? Canada is unlivable. Yeah, it's very expensive. We just saw a report come out. They say it takes $250,000 just to live in Toronto. That's unbelievable. Allison, love that. You said thank you, David. You're very welcome, Allison. Hope that you have a good night and ask away your questions. You always ask good questions. So let's check out L3Z for the next person who's looking for something. L3 Zulu. I like answering your questions live because then you know it's not pre-planned or something like that. 1.4 million was the price before inside of L3Z, currently selling for 1.17 million, 1,171,000, down 21%. And that chart is pretty standard. I mean, this is about average right now. Halifax, Dartmouth, please. Yes, sir. Let's do this. Let's take a look at Halifax pricing. We got some. So let's take a look at the chart. Halifax right here, down low, is that blue one. Do you see how I'm itemizing it? Vancouver, Toronto are up near the top. That was the Kitchener-Waterloo we just references. These are the Alberta ones, and this is Halifax. So we always have to look at where was the prices before the money print started, 314. Where did it finish? 540. This is very, very common. But how far has it dropped? So as you see, the price has only dropped to 496. That's hardly any drop whatsoever, not even 10%. Whereas you're looking in Toronto, a lot of areas are down 25, 35%. So Halifax is doing really, really well. I wonder if fires in Alberta are going to affect the market for sure. If it burns down a bunch of houses, it's going to affect the market. If oil companies have to shut down for longer periods of time, it's going to really, really affect the market because then people will lose their jobs. Thank you for the ice cream cone. Thank you for the gift, you guys. And thank you guys for all the likes. I really, really appreciate it. Money laundering in Vancouver. Absolutely. I mean, this isn't just Vancouver. This is Canada. This is Toronto, Halifax, Montreal, all over the place. There's so much money laundering in housing. M2N detached. Susan, you said yes. I don't know what that means, Susan. Could you elaborate on that? Sorry, I'm trying to get to them, but I don't want to miss anything. Can I do N9J on the graph, please? So I don't know where November 9 Juliet. Was that Windsor? That's the one I did, right? Realty.ca graph. I don't know where that is. I don't know that one. I'll check that out if you want. Why did home prices rise if banks were failing? That's a good question. So, if you take a look at any country, doesn't matter if you want to look at the United States or whatever, let's look it up just for that US bond rate 5 year, for example. We can look up the 2 year if you wanted. But let's just pull up their 5 year and just see if you go back and check out what it has been in the past year, you're going to see that bond rates have actually fallen since the new year. There was a lot of problems when it's coming to banking. And as the bond rates fall, so do your mortgage rates. In Canada, it's a little bit more extreme what has happened in our bond rates. So you could see the bond rates have collapsed. And as the bond rates go down, mortgage rates go down. If mortgage rates go down, home prices go up. Laval, where we're at, getting a question to look up Laval for H7T. This is for Alain. Hey, buddy. How are you? Thanks very much for coming on. Let's try to look up. I don't have Laval, I don't think, but I do have Montreal. So let's just try to see if I do have Laval. I don't. So we're going to have to look up Montreal as a composite, meaning downtown and the suburbs, which would include Laval. But if we're going to take a look at that one, look at there. So Montreal prices as a whole, when we started money printing 370, where did it finish? 550. That's pretty average. And now prices have not fallen a lot, 511. And a lot of that is because of mortgage rules, right? Under 500,000, you only have to put 5% down. So this is why, and people run from big homes down to cheaper areas. So look at the comparison between Montreal right now in those prices compared to Toronto prices. Absolutely crazy town. This is a bankruptcy event. Okay. You don't see any bankruptcy events in Montreal. So remember that they say lambs get slaughtered, right? Pigs get slaughtered. Lambs get fleeced, pigs get slaughtered, something like that. People bet way too much on the market. Where would you say in Ontario is a good place to go? My mill is moving to Ajax. Your M1L is moving to Ajax. In Ontario, if I was going to buy in Ontario, I wouldn't be buying right now. First of all, I'd be waiting till the third quarter of this year at minimum. I would be waiting longer. If I did, I would be trying to buy a place where I'm guaranteed to make the most money, and that's probably going to be more south than it is here, south or north. But I wouldn't be buying in the GTA. You could even go east if you wanted, but just not the GTA. Basically, examples: Windsor, St. Thomas, Kingston, Sault Ste. Marie. You just can't be here if you're buying for an investment. If you're buying to live for yourself, I would only want to live in Toronto. Really, really depends what your main goal is. Halifax, Dartmouth. Woo! I got a lot of gifts here, you guys. Thank you. Halifax, Dartmouth. Thank you guys for the presents. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for the likes. All right. So let's go to, Halifax, Dartmouth is the question. Let's pull up Halifax for you. Halifax is doing really well. Look at that. So when they started money printing, 321 was the average price, went all the way to 550. That was pretty average. But look at that. Hardly any drop in prices. From 550, right now it's sitting at 500. So Halifax is doing fantastic. 496 is the average price in Halifax. L3Z, looking at going north. L3Z. Let's try to look up something for L3Z. L3Z. Pull this one up. In L3Z, it's down 21%. Overall, prices from 1.4 million down to 1.17, down 21%. That's pretty average. But, big bump in prices. Look at that, $117,000 bump in price just because these banks went down. If you were thinking of selling your property, you should be pretty happy that that extra 100,000 showed up. That's amazing. I wouldn't be moving to Ajax right now. The prices haven't adjusted enough, Allison. E2G is the next question. E2G. Don't remember where that is. Is what? No. E2G area code. Apparently there's a company called that E2G. I don't know where E2G is. You guys, sorry. The company keeps coming up. Oh, there we go. That makes sense. New Brunswick, right? Where in New Brunswick are you looking? Well, that's near St. John. Okay, so let's look at St. John's. I already know St. John. It's doing very good. St. John. Oh, it's not there, eh? I only got St. John, Newfoundland. You guys can't do that, can you? Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's take a look at St. John, New Brunswick. New Brunswick. I really like New Brunswick actually. Look at St. John, New Brunswick. Absolutely beautiful. 179 was the price when they started money printing, and it went all the way to 298. Whoop-de-doo. And now it's at 268. You want to talk about a stable economy with structural inflation that is well below? My goodness. St. John's, beautiful place to invest. We were looking at a property there for $400,000 for 5 lots and 3 properties. Amazing. Thank you guys for the gifts, man. I really appreciate it. Do you see housing drop at some point in Canada? Absolutely. Housing has to drop by quite a bit, I think. J-Dub, how are you, buddy? Thanks very much for coming on. He's on YouTube right now. But prices have to come down. And the reason that prices have to come down is interest rates. At one time, math has to come into the picture, guys. Math has to make sense. Math matters. That's my point. So look at this. People's salaries have not gone up. They just haven't. I hate to tell people that, but they think that everybody's salaries have gone up. So let's just take this as a whole. $1.2 million properties last year for 2.5% were $5,000 on payments. Today, you would have to sell the property price at $800,000 for these new interest rates at 6.5 to be able to have a $5,400 payment. But have prices dropped from 1.2 million down to 800,000? No, they have not. So prices have to come down as people go through the renewal cycle on their mortgages. As people go and have to renew on their mortgages, they're finito. They're going to get wiped out. Look at down here, total interest that is going to be expected to be paid. Before, only needed $400,000 profit to the banks. Now they want $800,000 profit from the banks. Where does that extra $400,000 come from? You got to go find it. And so that's going to affect the home price by $400,000. At the end of the day, principal and interest can only account to what you make. So I think so for sure. If so, when roughly? Between Q3 of this year and Q3 of next year. November Juliet 9 is what you're looking for. November Juliet 9. I don't know where that is. November Juliet 9. Guys, I'm getting buried here. I don't know how to get to all of this stuff. I don't know. Just give me the city, you guys. Oh, Windsor. Okay, let's try and pick up Windsor. I got 24 comments behind. I'm trying to catch up, you guys. So Windsor is right here. Windsor prices started off at 380, finished at 660. Man, that's like 80-90% up. It's currently sitting at 550, but nothing compared to what happened in Toronto prices, right? Absolutely crazy. Can you imagine back in 2006 the prices were almost the same? Unbelievable. Brossard, Montreal, Langley, BC. I don't think I have Langley. I have Interior, BC. But we do have Montreal. Let's find Montreal for you. And Interior, BC. Let's take a look at those two, just to give you guys an idea. Which one is this? Windsor, Montreal, Interior, BC. Okay, look at Interior, BC. This is an aggregate of all the places, right? Average prices for 460. Look at they spiked to 7 640. Unbelievable. Prices now are down to 651. That is nothing compared to Toronto and Vancouver, though. So that drop is survivable. If you wanted to look at Montreal overall, prices, they went from 360 up to 540, currently selling at 511, nothing. So I know that those drops seem like a lot to you, I guess, but when you stack them up against some other places like Vancouver, for example, and take a look at that, all of a sudden your towns down here look nothing compared to the drops that Vancouver and Toronto are going through. November 9. Allison, you said she already sold, unfortunately. Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. L9W, let's check out L9W. Man, you guys are giving me, I asked for it, so I'm not going to say anything about it. You guys got a lot of questions tonight. That's good. Very good. L9W, if you go back 2 years, average price right now, $933,000 minus 20% from the peak. So that's a big drop in L9W. If you're looking for E2G, I don't know where that area code is. Oh, this is the one I couldn't figure out before. Oh, this is in New Brunswick, outside of St. John. So, I mean, if you were looking at this first one, right, we're down 20% in prices. But if we were going to take a look at St. John here, St. John has not dropped 20 something percent. No way. St. John was at 300 and now it's sitting at 270. That's 10% compared to like 20 something percent. St. John's drop is nothing compared to that. Mono. Do you guys know where that is? That's where Schitt's Creek was filmed. I actually was there last year. Can you do Langley, BC? I think I just did that, right? Mother-in-law. MIL, mother-in-law. Yeah, Allison. She already sold. Well, next time that she has to sell or buy, you can reach out to me. Hang on a second. I got way too many questions here. What does benchmark mean? MIL, mother-in-law. Yeah, Allison, you're saying it was in Innisfil before that. That's good. Does benchmark mean average? Yes. E2G is just north of St. John's. Yeah. So thank you very much. I think I helped you out with the St. John's pricing, right? You wanted to move to New Brunswick. Yeah, Allison. I mean, for investment, if you're going to move to New Brunswick, St. John is much better investment, but Fredericton is much better to live. Damn, hubby, I won't move with you to New Brunswick. Maybe you still got time. He might change his mind. How's Edmonton or Winnipeg for investment property at this time? Winnipeg is much better than Edmonton. Winnipeg has better metrics to it, but it doesn't have as good of landlord laws. Edmonton has better landlord laws, but very bad tenants. St. John's, it's really nice because it's on the ocean. It's beautiful there. Do you have to speak French in St. John's? No, they speak English and French. Math ain't matching, Allison says. One day, math has to make sense to people. Says kick in the mouth. Yeah, for sure. It is a big kick in the pants. What's my prediction for Halifax, Nova Scotia housing market? Halifax is going to continue to do good. There's a lot of government money that is going into Halifax, so I think it's going to be good long term. But the problem with them is the politics. They're not as landlord friendly as some of their neighbors. You hear the bond rates will be declining again. If this happens, you will see rates coming down. Yes, absolutely. I should have wore a solid shirt, eh? That doesn't help. Maybe this helps. Can you see that better? I just heard the job market is pretty weak in New Brunswick, hence low real estate prices, right? Which is a good idea why you would want to keep purchasing those. Do you guys have, oh boy, I'm getting caught up. Mono, please, near Orangeville. I think I did that right. Let's see if we actually, I don't know. I'm not promising anything, but I'm just wondering if we actually have mono here. Yeah, bammo. City. Well, sorry. I think I did. We were looking at L9W, right? And let's pull up just mono. L9W. It's a big area. Let's see if we could find just mono to see what how mono is doing. 80 houses. So that's not a lot of homes in the area, but it's enough to give us a graph, right? So the average home price was 1.5 million 2 years ago, at the beginning of 2022. Currently, so obviously this is a big spike. This would not be natural right here up to 1.8, but we would have to look at that because something weird happened there. But where prices are right now, 1.4 million is for a home in mono right now. Again, it depends on what size of property that you're looking for. If you were thinking of selling your property, obviously you can go to sellhigher.ca. Sellhigher.ca. It's a free consultation, doesn't cost you anything. Fergus is a question that is coming up. Let's see what we can find out in Fergus. I have some really good friends in Fergus. And since Fergus is a small town, you probably know each other. Fergus. Let's see if I have Fergus as a. No, I don't have enough details inside of Fergus. Sorry. Um, Halifax, Nova Scotia. I think that we did that, right? A couple times. Let's pull that up again. Maybe we're somebody that was new. Halifax prices. There you go. Halifax prices did a lot better than St. John's. So when we started money printing, 300,000. Where did it finish? 550. That's almost a doubling of prices. Sitting right now at 500. So it's only gone down 10%. Hardly anything. Are real estate gains taxed differently than stock gains? Yes, they are. That's a question for an accountant, though. But if you live in the house yourself, then you're not taxed. If you don't sell it, your property, you're not taxed. I heard overall every sector compared to other provinces. I don't know what that means. November 1 mother. November 1 mother. So where is that, you guys? November 1 mother. That's in Fergus, right? Yeah, I don't have that one, unfortunately. Sorry, you guys. Fergus is I got a lot of towns. Look at that. I even got mono on there. But I don't know why I don't have Fergus. I just guess I don't have enough data for Fergus. Sorry. Allison, you said you're sure she's still looking at. Of course. Toronto for investment property now. No, Susan, I wouldn't be doing that right now. New Brunswick is very bilingual. Yep, I speak French myself. I was brought up in Montreal. Is Fredericton, New Brunswick, or St. John going to drop still? Not much. No, they're not going to drop very much. It's structural inflation, you guys. Look at New Brunswick here. It's hardly gone up and it's hardly gone down. How about Edmonton? Edmonton right now, I probably wouldn't be doing that in Edmonton. But if I had a property in Toronto, I'd be selling my property in Toronto and then buying the property over in Edmonton. Is there a way to get around capital gains? No. But you'd also have to talk to your accountant about strategies. Midland. Do you know what the area code is in Midland? I don't have it on this one. Midland. There we go, Midland. So prices were 741 earlier, and then now it's sitting at $708,000. So it's only down 4% overall. So that is incredibly resilient, considering the interest rate beating that we have taken. So here's the thing, like if this was down 25%, you would say that's average, okay? If this was down 25%, that's average. If it is down, say 40%, like a lot of areas are right now, that means it's a buying opportunity. If it's down 4%, then you're in a zone where it hasn't lost very much. It's a great time to sell a property if you were thinking of it. So it just really depends what the interest rate is. What is the market in Edmonton? Market in Edmonton is doing very good. I mean, it's quite resilient, as all of Alberta has been. Let's take a look at Edmonton for you guys. Edmonton, right there. Look at how steady that those prices have been. 2020 average price 342 went up to 402. Barely went up. Now it's sitting at 370. So prices have hardly gone up, even through all of this inflation like crazy. Edmonton, the prices just stay the same always. Close to Pentaguishene, okay? Or how? Yeah, I can't spell it either. Don't ask me. It is what it is. I don't think I have Pentaguishene here. Honestly, I don't think I do. But good questions today, you guys. You guys on YouTube have been very silent. I've been getting hardly any questions from you, so I think that I must be doing a fantastic job. You think that you saw it, so let's just try to see if we see Pentaguishene on here. PE. See if there's something that comes up. Nope. I know that you can't yell at me in my ear and say it's right there. I'm trying to read it. Oops, sorry, guys. Here, 77 homes sold. Ah, man, Allison, old eagle eye, man. This is amazing. Good job. Okay, in the Pentaguishene in the past 2 years, down 14% overall. Prices started at 710 last year, sitting at 608 right now. But whenever you look at a chart like this is going to be normal. But again, something like this, and like this, these are anomalies. So when it goes so much higher than the average, so much lower than the average, this could have been a farm that was all beaten up and downtrodden. This could have been a very expensive property that fudged a number. So we'd have to look into it a little bit more just to see where the prices are at the beginning and end. How about TAY? Tay County? I don't think I had Tay County on here. Did you see Tay County? Mateen Harris, how are you on YouTube? Thank you very much. You're asking about Surrey, BC. Let's pull that one up in just 1 second here. I'm going to see if we can find Tay County. I don't think so. I've never seen that one. Oh, for heaven's sakes. You are showing me up today. Tay, right there. 121 different properties sold there. Look at that. I didn't even remember that. Let's pull it up. In Tay County, in the past 2 years, property prices have dropped 48% from $1.3 million, currently selling for $685,000. So I guess we'd have to look into this a little bit more specifically. But if you were thinking of selling a property, for example, remember I said before, if you're negative 40%, negative 48%, like what this is right here, that would tell you that it's a good time to buy. If it was sitting at even and it hadn't lost anything, well, then it would be a good time to sell. And it's a sliding scale in the middle. But again, Tay only has 121 homes that sold versus a lot of the other areas might have 1,000 homes that sold. So a lot can change if we dig into it a little bit more. Someone is asking about Surrey, but the problem with Surrey is I don't have that, but I do have Vancouver Island as a price as a whole, Mateen. And so if we take a look at Vancouver Island compared to Vancouver is like complete night and day. I mean, crazy. So look at this. This is Vancouver that's up here. Prices right now are sitting at 1.1 million. But if we go and take a look at Vancouver Island, prices on Vancouver Island average are 662. In Surrey, in Surrey, outside of Vancouver, I got you mixed up with Sydney on the island, for heaven's sakes. So You know what I'm talking about. Prices are very, very high over in Surrey then. 1.1 million is where you're sitting right now. Um, Thunder Bay is a question that we're having. I'm not sure. Let's check. I don't I don't have Thunder Bay. I'm sorry, I don't have Thunder Bay. Unbelievable. Sorry, I don't have that one. Gatineau. Do you see Gatineau here, you guys? I don't see Gatineau. But if we look at the Ottawa prices, it's the closest I can get you, I think. If we look at Ottawa prices, let's try and find Ottawa here. Nope, nope, nope. You guys know that I love Ottawa, right? There it is. Can you see this dark line that's right there? So Ottawa prices currently are sitting at 622,000. They were topping out at 728,000. But where it was when we started money printing, it was 390. What do you think about Allure condos in Toronto, a pre-con? This is my sincere hope for all of you guys. YouTube, Facebook, do not buy pre-construction right now. Absolute terrible idea. You're going to lose a lot of money. What do Rideau St. Lawrence? Would that be a comparison? I don't know what that means, Allison. I'm sorry. Rideau St. Lawrence. On this list, you mean? Let's try it. Okay. And I'm going to knock off a bunch of these other ones so we don't actually have to hurt our eyes looking at all these numbers. Okay. So let's try to look up that one for our friend. Ottawa prices right here. You can see that prices in Ottawa topped out at 724 and currently 622. Look at this in comparison to the Rideau prices. So in 2022, prices were 330. Look at that, topping out 613. Unbelievable. Almost 100% increase. Currently sitting at 534. So those are big, big drops. Look at Edmonton, though. You know, there's no drops here for you to get taken out. But I'm very surprised to see Ottawa. I mean, I think it's behaving really, really well, right? We have to put that in perspective to what some of the crazy markets are. That right there in Toronto is a bankruptcy event up here. So when you're comparing your Ottawa numbers, that's nothing. So is Rideau. But if you're buying, it depends what you're trying to buy for. If you're trying to buy for massive demand, then you'd buy in Toronto. If you're trying to buy for something that is very, very stable, you're looking for a stabler home price over time. So what Canadian cities do you recommend investing in? Is it a good idea to buy a studio or one bedroom downtown? Yeah, for sure. Well, you know, a lot of areas in Toronto, for example, are underwater by a lot. And I mean a lot. But I'm talking about 30, 40%. So let's just take something that's like right downtown in Mother 5 Victor. Look at this. So prices are only down 3% overall. So that does really, really good, right? And so you can go take a look at, if you wanted to, like we're talking M5V right downtown. Let's look at a condo, 1,300 condos sold. And you said let's talk about maybe a one bedroom, for example. Whoops. Let's just look at a one bedroom condo, and how are those prices? So you'll see right here, it's only gone down 4% since the peak. The peak average price was 750. Now it's sitting at 706 because the interest rates have fallen. People have spent so much more on them, and now it's evened out. And everyone is moving from townhouses down into condos just to afford it. So one bedrooms are not bad. If it really depends on the type of product. You shouldn't be buying a 3-bedroom home, you know, in Mississauga right now. I wouldn't be doing that. Um, Allison says 100% agree about the pre-construction. I feel bad for all the people that lost their homes by fire, for sure. Feel bad for all those people in Alberta that are losing their properties. That's terrible. Number two, pre-construction is just like one of the worst ideas that you could possibly do. You're going to lose so much money on that. We haven't bought pre-construction for 10 years. Like for myself, for investment. We have clients that buy it, but not as investments. There was a block that went down a while back. What do you mean? Like a fire in Toronto that went down? Shelburne, Ontario, not Shelburne, Nova Scotia. Okay. Let's try to look that up for you. Do you guys have anything on YouTube for me? Let me know if you have any questions on YouTube. We're taking questions right now on Facebook and TikTok as well. Shelburne. If you wanted to give me the postal code, I can try to look it up. Shelburne, 115 properties sold there, so that's good. Past 2 years, average price in Shelburne was 915,000, now sitting at 835,000. So you got to be thankful for that. All those banks were collapsing. Look at that price, 660,000 all the way up to 835. Fantastic. Susan, thanks for the advice of not buying a condo now. Yeah, you're very welcome. I wouldn't be. I'd be waiting at least until the fall. And then in the fall, you could reach out to me if you would like. Just go to Rough Team Realty, roughsteamrealty.com. You can go there and you could reach me there. Shelburne is close to Orangeville and Mono. When is a good time to buy condos in Toronto for investment? I stand by. I would not be buying a property before Q3 of this year. Tell me more about 30 to 40%. Really depends on the product type. So the larger the home, the bigger the drop. So a lot of the things that are fancy, you got a 6-bedroom home, they're down 30, 40%. Depends on the area. Like if you go up to King City or something like that, Wasaga Beach, if you want to go up to Kawartha Lakes, there's a lot of losses on properties down there. The bigger it is, the bigger they fall. How do you evict a landlord-unfriendly provinces like BC? This is for Mateen Harris over on YouTube. So that's pretty easy. You got to go to the landlord and tenant board of your province. You have to submit your paperwork immediately. But the problem is though the process is the exact same, if you're in Alberta or if you're in BC, for example, you have to put in your piece of paperwork and then you have to wait for them to call you. You can hound them if you want, but when you're going to hound them, it might take you a year and a half in order to get them out. My other friend has sold her condo and she's thinking of buying in Cambridge or Guelph. Well, Allison, first of all, I wish that she would have called me. Have her call me, okay? Yeah, I mean, if somebody, your friends are going to be selling your properties, just go to sellhigher.ca. I can help them. But if they're thinking about buying in Cambridge and Guelph, I wouldn't be doing either of those things right now, personally. I wouldn't be buying a property right now. I'd be waiting until at least September, at minimum. Thank you for answering our questions. You're very, very welcome. I mean, that's what I'm here for. Why didn't people just shift into the burbs? Well, they did. Why don't people just all shift into the burbs? I mean, that's what they did for 2 years, and that's why we're having a lot of these problems right now. Jessica Wilson, they claim insurance on the full house insurance. I don't know what that means. I guess if there was a fire, is that what you mean? I think I'm going to suggest you to her, David. You've always been good at advising others. Oh, thank you very much, Allison. I appreciate it. Got a lot of good questions here, you guys. Why wait to Q3? Sorry, only joined a few minutes ago. So why I would wait to Q3 is because the amount of commercial real estate that is going to be redone. So number one, residential real estate is normally only purchased in the spring, 50%, and the other like 30, 40% is going to be bought in the fall with some tricklings. But as people come up to renewal of their mortgages, this is what they're kind of hitting a wall because you're not allowed to get a mortgage renewed or approved over 25 years. And so your payments are going to jump from something stupid like $5,000 up to $8,000. And that's going to force a lot of people to put their homes on the market. When we're coming to commercial real estate in the United States, there's 1.5 trillion that is coming due. In Canada, it's around 150 to 175 billion dollars of commercial real estate is going to have to be renegotiated within the next 12 to 18 months. So once we see that like big damage go through the market, then we're going to have a better idea of where we're going to land. So I wouldn't be doing it until at least Q3. And I reserve my right to change my opinion based on new information that comes in. But as of right now, I wouldn't be doing it before that. Due to the fire, yeah, Jessica. Yeah, I guess there's going to be a lot of insurance fraud, I'm sure. All right. Mateen, thank you very much. Do you have any other questions for me, Mateen, over on YouTube? If you do, you just shoot it out. All right, you guys, I'm going to get going. Got some work to do, but I don't want to ever leave you hanging. So if you ever need me for any purposes, you can go to my website and send out some information there. I put out a lot of stuff on YouTube, so please follow me on YouTube. I go into thanks, David. Always informative with free up-to-date date information on current events in the markets. You're right. Yeah, a lot of people have asked me actually to put out a paid subscription. Because there's not any people that actually do this. Normally you have to pay to be in a special pro investors group in order to have these discussions. So I try to help people out. So we don't make money from this unless you actually use our services. So if you like us, we would love to help you out. If you're thinking of selling your property, you can go to that website, sellhigher.ca. If you're thinking of buying a property, go to Rough Team Realty. Those are my companies. And so when do you qualify as a first-time buyer? As soon as you have 5% to put down on your property, you can do so. But it really depends on what program too, right, guys? Because there's different programs for first-time buyers. There is the first-time buyer credit for the city, the first-time buyer program where the country actually allows you to co-purchase the property with them. There's now the first home buyer savings account that you can now open. So they all have different requirements, but there's a whole bunch of benefits for first-time buyers. But first home savings account, FHSA, best account ever. Everyone should have opened it up April 1st and stuck their $8,000 in it. It's absolutely incredible. You can skip taxes also if you have a disability. Yeah, that helps. Disabilities actually help. Yeah. After you last time buying, Susan, what does that mean? Sorry. After you last time buying. Maybe after you buy with me, it'll be the last time you buy. Is that what that means? All right, you guys, Mateen and J-Dub, Elaine, Justin, thank you guys very much for coming on. Allison, awesome talking to you. You had a lot of good questions. Jessica, a lot of good questions today. So hopefully it helped you guys out. But thanks everyone for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. Listen, guys, if you ever need me, just send me a message. I read all the messages, but I don't normally get, I don't usually get to answer all of them. I try, but please let me know. Susan, yeah, sure. And Susan, if you want to clarify privately, obviously you can email me. Contact at Rough Team Realty. Contact at Rough Team Realty. There's 10,000 likes. Nice. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I love that. JW, you're saying thanks for the legit data. I really appreciate it. Yeah. And this is what we try to do, right? We want to be able to help you guys be able to make sense of the market and where we're sitting at right now. So the market is a crazy market where I'm trying to help you make sense of it to make better, smarter decisions. Also, if you go to Rough Team Realty, we're constantly adding new courses all the time. But we have on how to calculate real estate returns. We have our massive gold and silver, how to understand and acquire gold and silver. That's a course that we did. We also have our investment calculator that's here. How to buy your dream home. We have some different courses and calculators. The calculator is always one that is very, very popular. We got a lot of people that use that one. So if there's something that we can do, you can always reach out to us. And we really, really hope that you guys do well. Keep on crushing it. The next 2 years is going to be really, really, really punishing on a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of pain for a lot of people that is out there. So I don't want you to suffer through the same pain. Have a thought about being a professor? Doesn't pay enough. Unfortunately, you can't keep the lights on. But yeah, I've heard that before, but I like teaching and I like helping people. All right, you guys. Hope that you have a fantastic night. Thanks, everybody. Really, really appreciate it. Hope you have a great night. See you soon.